We are the Fourth. We are Southwest.
Andres Blanco in for Elvis Andrews today. It is a bit of a different lineup altogether for Ron Washington's Rangers. The Rangers are 8.5 games up in the AL West with about 32 games to go now, taking on the 500 ball club that's chasing them. That's the Oakland Athletics. And we welcome you to Texas Ranger Baseball on a warm Sunday afternoon. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Josh Lewin. Colby Lewis for the 8th time will be going after win number 10. It is a shame he hasn't gotten it yet.
Well, he's 0-5 in his last 7 starts, but his ERA is just a little bit over 3. Certainly pitched well enough in his last starts to win 4 or 5 of these games. Hard to believe he could be 0-4. He strikes out about a batter per inning, but he just doesn't get any run support, less than 2 runs per start. The Rangers are due to score some runs for him, and all he can do, keep throwing the ball the way he is, and everything will work out great.
Try to get him more than 1.38 runs today, fellas, and the Rangers, can really kind of help to bury the Oakland A's with a win today. They'd love to do that in front of a nice-sized crowd. Going to be tough, though, because Gio Gonzalez gets that baseball for Bob Guerin's Oakland Athletics team. He has been outstanding all year, especially of late. Rangers and A's right after this. To join them, the Rangers will take the field themselves in just a moment with a record of 73 and 56. 8.5 games ahead of the Oakland A's, and the Rangers holding it together despite this rash of injuries. Been eating them up for a while. Let's go down to Emily Jones for more on that.
Well, that's exactly right, Josh. They've been without Ian Kinsler for 4.5 weeks, without Nellie Cruz for 2 weeks now. Nellie will be back in the lineup tomorrow. It will be Minnesota before Ian gets back in the lineup. However, Michael Young, in tonight's Geico quote of the game, says he is proud of the way his teammates have stepped up.
We've been battling for a while now. To be honest with you, I couldn't be more proud of the effort we've had over the last month or so. We've had two big parts of our lineup out. We've managed to go out, still win, keep battle, keep grinding away, and we've been doing really well. But no doubt about it. To get those guys back in the lineup will be a huge shot in the arm.
And obviously, the guy that's probably been the biggest in Ian's absence has been Andres Blanco. He's coming off a rest day yesterday. We'll see how he responds in the lineup, batting leadoff today. Josh.
Yeah, the Ranger lineup is certainly a little bit different today. Gio Gonzalez, a lefty, the 5th consecutive lefty the Rangers will face. Going to be a tough challenge for the fellas today. And some lefty hitters like Corbone and Murphy will get their shot against Gio Gonzalez. Colby Lewis, as we mentioned, is on the mound for Texas. 9 wins, 10 losses. And you're checking out some of his supporting cast live and in person right here, signing autographs for those young fans. The Oakland lineup will present it to you here in just a moment. And again, the A's 8.5 games out, coming in with a record of 64-64. Coco Crisp and Derek Barton off the top. And both those guys were involved in a 5-0 win for the A's last night. So was Kurt Suzuki, who had 4 hits yesterday. Cust and Kuzminoff after that, then Ellis and Larish, Davis and Pennington. That's the 1 through 9 for Bob Guerin. 25th time this year the A's have been exactly 500. Right now, the number is 64. 64 up, 64 down. Colby Lewis would like to be a 500 guy. Like to be 10-10. Right now, boy, that odometer just won't roll. It won't get from 9 to 10 for the wins.
Yeah, he should easily be 12-7 instead of 9-10 the way he's pitched. Almost a strikeout per inning, an ERA that's 12th in the league. 5th in the league, strikeouts per 9 innings. Actually 8th in the league with 156 strikeouts, and the 8th best opponent's batting average at 226. Against the A's, kind of a small example of what the season has been for him. He's had 4 starts against the A's. He's 0-2, but his ERA is below 3, and the A's have only hit 198 against him. Generally, with those numbers, you'd think he was at least 3-1 and maybe 4-0, but it's just been a case of a lack of run support for Colby, who's pitching the ball as well now as he was earlier in the year when he was winning.
Yeah, I'd love to say it's been a bucket of fun for Colby Lewis with an ERA of 3.4. It should be the kind of season that gives him a little bit more cred. Just hasn't worked out. You're checking out that defense. Lewis working with Benji Molina today. And a 5-0 loss last night. A sellout crowd had to kind of sit on its hands. The Rangers never did get going against Dallas Braden. It was the first time, Tom, in the 17-year history of this ballpark that a team got shut out on no strikeouts or 1 strikeout. The Rangers were putting the ball in play because nothing much happened when they did.
It was a lot like the game that Tommy Hunter pitched in Baltimore. No walks, no strikeouts. The Rangers put the ball in play, but in the course of 9 innings, there was only 1 or 2 balls that even resembled a hard hit ball. So with only 1 strikeout, Dallas Braden had a dominating effort against a good team who plays really well in this ballpark. So kudos to Dallas Braden and the way he pitched last night.
Coco Crisp will take a strike, and yeah, Braden, who's already got himself a perfect game this year.
Yeah, I would be willing to say, without having seen his perfect game, that last night he threw the ball just as well as he did in his perfect game.
And in a perfect game, you need some luck, right? I mean, like the blooper from Cantu that falls for a double might have gone 5 or 7 feet closer to a fielder in that one and would have been caught. That one rolling foul off the bat of Coco Crisp. And as far as Rich Harden, I guess, Tom, it's just unfortunate he can't seem to string back-to-back real good ones together. Not like he was real awful or anything yesterday. Nothing close to awful. He was okay. But it wasn't the 6 2/3 innings of no-hit ball like the time before.
No. He gave up 4 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Had decent stuff. Didn't have much velocity on his fastball. Didn't have great command of his fastball. Had pretty good changeup yesterday.
Crisp is still up there, according to the third base umpire, Tim Welke.
But, you know, the reality of last night is you would have had to be very good to keep from losing after 9 innings.
Yeah.
You might have been able to tie after 9 innings if you threw a shutout. The way Braden pitched, really just going to be tough to score runs.
That's going to send Coco Crisp back to the dugout. 1 down.
More curveballs right off the bat than generally you would see from Kobe. But the way this ball is breaking, I don't blame him for going to his curveball. He got a good one right off the bat.
No heat at all on a 92-degree afternoon here today. 5 off-speed pitches to start the afternoon. Brings up Derek Barton. Barton had an unusual game last night. The A's only scored 5 runs. Barton had 4 of them. One of them on a home run. He's homered 2 straight games.
At one point in the game, Barton and Suzuki had been on 8 times, 6 for 6. Barton had scored 4, and Suzuki had driven them in twice.
Barton working an 11-game hit streak right now, ties for a career high. Not a bad year for him. .281 batting average. But obviously, first base traditionally is a position of power. And even homering back-to-back games here in Arlington, that season total for Barton now for the homers is 7.
Yeah, and you can have a first baseman like Barton, an on-base percentage guy, and as the years go on, he'll probably be a 40% plus on-base percentage guy. But you got to get the power somewhere. So if it's not him, it's got to be someone else in the lineup.
Cantu turned that into a bit of an adventure over there, but no harm, no foul. 2 down, and up comes Kurt Suzuki.
You know, there's teams like if you want on Jeff Kent's team where you're getting 30 home runs from your second baseman,
right,
then you don't need to get 30 home runs from your first baseman. The lineup has to work. It doesn't matter who gives you the power, but somewhere in the lineup you have to get it. And that's pretty much what the A's are lacking right now.
Remember back in the 60s, there was a first baseman named Power, Vic Power, and he was one of those guys that only hit 4 or 5 a year.
Yeah, I never saw Vic Power play, but they say no one handled the glove better than he did.
Pretty ironically named guy, though. Power was the one thing he didn't have. He wore it right on his back. Suzuki's got some pop. He's got a dozen home runs. And Lewis fires it right by him. And I guess if you're looking to sum things up for Oakland, Tom, 12 home runs, that leads the team. You're about to see some guys coming up that have more than 12. Whoa, but not yet. Michael Young has got a race after this. That's weird to see a third baseman standing over near first, as there were 4 guys around that baseball. None of them could catch it.
And you hate to see that cost the Rangers anything in the first inning. And that's one where you have a pretty good idea what you're doing until you start to run up the mound without knowing when it's going to happen. Right here, Michael starts to run up the mound, and I'm sure that threw his balance off a little bit and caused him to miss the ball.
That goes as the 19th error of the year on Michael. He was the one calling for it all the way. Brings up Jack Cust. And Tag, just to finish the thought, the Rangers will have Vladdy with 24 home runs, Josh Hamilton with 30, and Michael with 19 home runs, batting in the 2 through 4 portion of the order today. Obviously, those are all numbers higher than 12, and that's the leader for the A's, is 12 home runs.
They've got the fewest home runs in baseball, so that stands to reason, I guess. But with their pitching, it's pretty obvious what they need to do in the offseason if they want to really up their win total. They got to get some offense.
Well, that's the thing. Their last, 22 games, their team ERA essentially is 2. But they're 11-11. Somebody's got to score. Taken, strike 3. Colby.
That's as good stuff as Kobe's had all year right there.
Yep, nobody hit it out of the infield. Scoreless, bottom 1 coming. $1.50 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Jack in the Box. Get Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo for only $3.99 plus tax. A 92-degree afternoon under minimal cloud cover. As the Rangers and the A's finish up a 3-game series, let's check the lineup for Ron Washington's ball club. At 73 and 56 and sitting pretty in the AL West, Blanco and Young, Hamilton and Guerrero. Can't choose your first baseman today against a lefty. Then it's Murphy and Molina. The newcomer Alex Cora at second base and Julio Borbon batting ninth. Gio Gonzalez last year had a 5.3 ERA. Tom, this year it's 3.24.
Well, he's cut his walks down, he's upped his strikeouts, and he's been tougher to hit. Pretty good combination. Good fastball, really good curveball. 1 or fewer runs in 8 of his last 12 starts. His ERA is 9th in the league. His opponent's batting average is 6th in the league. He does have the 2nd most walks in the league this year.
Blanco in the center. He does keep the ball in the yard pretty well, too. Only 10 home runs allowed and none in his last 6 games.
He's had 3 games against the Rangers this year. The first one was his worst one, 4 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs. And he had a no decision, 6 innings and 1 run. And then in Oakland, a while back, not too far back, 7 innings, August 7th, as a matter of fact, 4 hits and no runs. So he's gotten better every time he's faced the Rangers.
Well, in Oakland's 5 starters, as a collective, they've got the best earned run average in the major leagues. No matter who they throw out there, you know you're going to be up against it. Their worst guy, Tag, I mean, just at least statistically, is Vin Mazzaro at 3.61. That's the worst they've got. But again, because they're so offensively challenged, here they are just kind of chugging along right at 500. 64 up, 64 down. On the ground, pass him out, and there at shortstop is Pennington. Quickly 2 away, and Josh Hamilton will give it a shot. Hamilton and Suzuki getting reacquainted. It's tough not to just kind of laugh and smile along with them, even though you have no idea what they're talking about. Josh leading the majors by 16 points in batting average. Having one of the most complete seasons, really, in Texas Ranger history. That's a lot of top 5s right there. Now, the Rangers have been somewhat offensively challenged themselves without the supporting cast that Hamilton usually has. Nelson Cruz and Kinsler not quite ready to go yet. Last night, the 14th time in the last 35 games, the Rangers have failed to score 3 runs. That's 40% of those games. But you figure that's going to change when Kinsler and Cruz are back. Here's the strike, 3-1. Guerrero's starting to get hot again, and boy, you really hope a guy like Cantu can catch fire as well. He's certainly capable of it. Hamilton draws a walk. Up comes Vladdy. Cantu is still looking for his first Ranger RBI, but Vladimir Guerrero already has banked 96 runs back in this year. Four more, it'll be his 10th season where he's had triple digits. So you're talking about a Hall of Fame caliber talent right here, Vladimir Guerrero. I think everybody right away pays attention to the home run numbers, the RBI numbers, and that's fine. But Vladdy is also a career .320 hitter. We're talking about close to 7,500 at bats. Pops that one straight up. Another convergence near the mound, but this time it's handled. Mark Ellis has got it. And with that, the inning is over. No score. End to 1 at the ballpark.
Josh, and what a crowd we have at Community Corner this afternoon. We got Michael Hogue and also Joanne Moore, the wife of Rangers bench coach Jackie Moore, here to talk about Snowball Express. Michael.
Hi. Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Snowball Express is the charity for our nation, our children of our nation's fallen heroes. And we've got about 90 of them, 90 of our family members out here today, all sweating together but cheering on the Texas Rangers, having a great time.
There we go. And Joanne, there's some activities planned coming with Hawaiian Falls. Is that correct?
Actually, we've already done Hawaiian Falls a couple of weeks ago, and then we're doing the Ranger game today. And it's for these kids that all have a mutual feeling about their parents that are not coming back anymore, but this is a chance for them to smile and be happy and share happy times and sad times and know that we are here to support them in every way we can.
There we go. Well, keep up the great work, Snowball Express. You guys have anything to say?
Yay!
There we go. Way to go. All right, Josh.
Hi, Jim. Thank you, everybody, and welcome. Kevin Kuzman off at the plate here. He's been heating up, 7 out of 15. I guess he was due for that. He was 4 for 42 before that. We were talking about that the other day, Tag. That's why they call it a batting average. You got to take it over a long picture. Boy, Colby Lewis continues to deal early on. 3 strikeouts.
An outstanding assortment of off-speed pitches. One of the better curveballs he's had. Last pitch is one of the better sliders you'll see. And when you got the combination of curveball slider working and you're spotting your fastball on either side of the plate, it's 5 up, 3 strikeouts so far for Colby.
It's been 5 straight quality starts here at home for the Cobra. But again, translating that to an actual tangible win has been an issue. Not his fault, but when the offense is scoring 11 runs total in your last 7 games, kind of stands to reason you're not going to win too many of those. All you can control is your own stuff, right? And boy, Colby is in control right now.
Well, Ellis has seen 3 pitches. First one inside corner. Second one a little off the outside corner. Third one right back to the inside corner.
Harmless little tapper towards Cantu.
There's a slider again. All he was able to do is just reach out and get the bat on it.
Well, 6 batters along, the A's have not been able to get the ball past the infield. Colby, who pitched briefly for this Oakland organization, didn't go real well. He was hurt. Actually only made 26 appearances for the A's, only one start. When the A's didn't bring him back, he tried to hook on with Kansas City. Kansas City said no thanks. And he said, fine, I'm going to Japan. And that's where everything, as you probably know, clicked back into gear for Colby Lewis. 2 years with the Hiroshima Carp. Finding that control, getting the cutter where he needed it to be. He led the Japanese league in strikeouts both the years he was over there. And as he's come back to the States, well, this year he's got 160 strikeouts already. That's the most by a Ranger in 11 years. Jim Reynolds, by the way, is the home plate umpire today. Known for having a pretty consistent zone. Down the middle. Another one that stays in the infield. Alex Cora ranging to his right to make the play. A 1-2-3, top of the second. Subscribe to MLB.tv. See every Rangers game live or on demand on your computer. Go to TexasRangers.com to get more details. Strike one to Jorge Cantu. He had the only Ranger extra base hit last night, dropping in a double against Dallas Braden.
I think Gonzalez has one of the better curveballs in the league. It's a big breaking, sharp breaking curveball. It's not a slow, lazy curveball. It's a big curveball, but it's thrown hard and it's sharp. There it is again. Yeah. And he's learned how to throw that for a strike. Commands his fastball a little bit better than he did last year. And remember, he is only 24 years old right now.
One of those guys that can kind of get you off your game at the plate a little bit. Lunge at a ball, put your foot in the bucket. And you want to make sure, I guess, that that doesn't carry over. If you face Gio Gonzalez and it doesn't go well, don't take that with you the next time out. The Rangers head to Kansas City when this one is over. And finally, they're not going to see left-hand starters, meaning that Jorge Cantu may not be in the lineup anyway today, or tomorrow, I should say. It's going to be Kyle Davies, Sean O'Sullivan, Brian Bullington going for KC, all of them right-handed. There's one of those lungers right there. Cantu extending his strike zone.
That's just another good example of the curveball that he throws. He can drop it near the outside corner like he did right there. He can throw it down and in. And a lot of times it's not a strike, but it goes through the strike zone. It's very tough to lay off it, especially when you have 2 strikes.
Puts that one right on the corner to David Murphy. And Gonzalez working on a little 11-inning shutout streak right now. Jumping right ahead of Murph, 0-2. Well, that was the most leisurely chased foul ball I've seen in a while, too, Tom. I guess it's just a function of it being a lazy Sunday afternoon here at the ballpark. Tough to get up out of your seat. And a good crowd today. Going to be north of 30,000 probably. Sellout last night. 47,000 plus, but Dallas Braden prevented the Ranger fans from making a lot of noise. They kept wanting to. But again, Braden had the complete game 4 hitter. As a team, Oakland's ERA this month of August is about 2.3. And we are almost done with August. That's 4 weeks of having a team ERA in the low 2s. I know they pitch in a pitcher-friendly ballpark back home, but that's impressive. Murphy is impressed suitably as well. He's another strikeout victim.
A tough day to hit so far. Both pitchers at the top of their game. Wallace with a little cutter that started on the outside corner, breaks away from David, and David started his swing thinking about swinging at it. He's thinking, well, this is on the outside corner, and then the ball cut away from him 4 or 5 inches out of the strike zone, and he wasn't able to hold up his swing. Gonzalez's fastball is usually a little bit above average, 91, 92 so far today.
Benji Molina rolls one into left center. That approach works. Just get up there, cock the bat, meet that baseball, and just kind of take your chances, see what happens. Slaps it right on into center field. Left center field. They won't hold Benji on here, will they?
Doesn't look like it.
Barton plays in back of him. Alex Cora takes down and outside. All the players seem very excited about the addition of Alex Cora. Guy who's been in the postseason. He's got a World Series ring with the Red Sox. 13th Major League season. A 34-year-old out of Puerto Rico. He is the younger brother of Joey Cora. Now the bench coach for the White Sox. But one of these days, they got to figure out those White Sox, Tom, if they're adding Manny Ramirez or not. That soap opera just goes on day by day.
Well, it's a process that has to play out. You can put the waiver claim in, but there's still a time before the Dodgers have to make their decision on whether they'll take him back off waivers or whether they'll let the team that claimed him have him. And in the meantime, I'm sure there's negotiations going on by the White Sox and the Dodgers as to what type of player the Dodgers would take to allow that waiver claim to go through and for Manny to become a White Sox. So there's a process, and it just takes some time to play it out.
on the ground off the side of the mound. And the 6-4 fielder's choice will end the inning. No score at the end of 2 at the ballpark today. On car insurance and by AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Go to att.com for details. Rangers finishing up a homestand that will be a winning homestand no matter what happens today. They're 4-2 so far. Getting set to head out on the road for 10 games over 11 days. Takes a while to pack for that one. The Rangers are ready. Kansas City, Minneapolis, and Toronto on the docket. The Rangers are next home on September the 10th, a Friday night, against the New York Yankees. Colby Lewis to Rajay Davis. Always imperative to keep Davis off at first base because he's just going to go steal second. Into the right field corner, and with a lunge, there is Murphy. It gets off his glove. Davis heading to second base. What a throw in, but it gets away from Blanco, and Davis is, after all, at second base, almost robbed by David Murphy.
Yeah, it looked like David got to the ball, and then as he lunged forward, the ball went off his glove. Davis looked like he was going to stop at first, and then realized he had a pretty good shot to get to second.
Get a good look at it right here.
Yeah, actually, it was a catchable ball. It was a ball that I don't know if David really had to dive for it. I think the fact that he dove for the ball made it a little bit more difficult to catch it. It was probably somewhere between his knees and his waist.
Just because Davis is already at second doesn't mean he still isn't thinking about third. They're going to bunt him to third. And in fact, it's going to be runners at the corners. A beautifully dropped down bunt by Cliff Pennington. Of the 39 steals for Davis this year, 9 of them have been of third base. They never really gave him a chance to run. They bunted it, and boy, it works out even better. First and third now. Young will come in on the grass over there at third base. Cantu's going to hold on Pennington. Great chance for Coco Crisp to get something done. And Crisp was kind of the player of the game, I guess, Tom, the last time Gonzalez matched up against the Rangers. He had a home run and a double and a leaping catch at the wall that game back in Oakland against Rich Harden. Colby's been tremendous this year with runners on base, and specifically with runners in scoring position. There are a lot of different ways the A's can cash in here. It's not just a runner at third and 2 out. You got first and third and nobody out. Three and 0, and Derek Barton, their hottest hitter, waits on deck. That one called a strike. We were talking about the durability earlier of Colby Lewis, Tom. He is one of the top 10 in the American League in pitches per game, close to 108 per game. And it really hasn't had a game all year where it's been like 3 1/3 or 4 1/3 or something like that. Missing the outside corner, he's in trouble now, and his base is loaded, nobody out. All starting with a little chip shot to the opposite field from Rajay Davis.
Well, the Rangers will play back and be glad if they can get a double play ball, even though you might give up a run with nobody out and the bases loaded. You'll take that. Ideally, you'd love to have a one-hopper right back to the mound and turn the double play by going home to first. Take a strikeout right here and then hope for a double play.
Starts with a breaking ball, and Jim Reynolds says that is 1-0. Let's take a look.
There's no way that can be a ball.
That's
right in the middle of the plate.
That curveball hammered into right center field. Bourbon going to make that catch and fire in. Oakland's got a 1-0 lead and runners at the corners again. The RBI for Barton, his 46th of the year. He's had a really strong series here in Arlington. Just kind of waiting back on a curveball and doing just enough to get the run home. Well, a double play you ordered, Mr. Grieve, can still arrive.
But if you get a double play right here, you're pretty much in the same situation you would have been in. Run was going to score anyway.
Got to keep an eye on Coco Crisp over there at first. He's been successful in his last 14 stolen base attempts.
And we've got a good runner at third base as well. And if you throw through, you risk the runner from third possibly being able to score.
Suzuki went too far right there.
The other side of it is if you get thrown out at second and the runner doesn't leave third base, now you've run yourself out of a potential sacrifice fly situation.
Down the left field line, keeps on curling. It is foul. Got the baseball, lost the hat. Can always go get the hat back, so it's a good trade down there. Suzuki, the native Hawaiian. In fact, from the town that is representing the United States in that Little League World Series, Tom, from Wailuku, Maui, Hawaii. He and Shane Victorino, both from that town in Maui. Down on strikes is Suzuki.
That's a big strikeout with a man on third base and less than 2 outs. A lot of ways you could score from there. They already scored on a sacrifice fly. You see Suzuki's head looking down the left field line and up in the air. That's just maybe trying to pull the ball and swing a little too hard. Just didn't really have a 2-strike approach right there. He swung at that pitch like the count was 2-0 or 3-1.
Yep. That was a 3-run homer approach right there.
And that's really not what the situation called for.
Rangers have the shift on for Jack Cust. He took a called 3rd strike in the 1st. He's going to send this one in the air. And again, it got dicey with Michael Young trying to lock up a pop fly to end an inning. But he stood his ground, called off Blanco, and Colby did a nice job navigating through it, giving up just the 1. For all remaining games here at home, including the upcoming series against the Yankees and the Tigers. For more information, go to TexasRangers.com/suites. Gio Gonzalez on the mound for the Oakland Athletics. Last time he was here in this ballpark, Tommy, was matched up against Cliff Lee, and that's when Cliff Lee was at his finest. A no-walk 13 strikeout game. Match today against Colby Lewis, who's got real good stuff. Right now it is Gio Gonzalez, and the A's ahead 1-0. Borbone bunting past Gonzalez. Bare hand pickup, and the ball gets away. And Borbone, for the 11th time this year, is able to bunt his way safely to first.
He's getting pretty good at dragging that bunt. That's not necessarily what he was trying to do right there, but very effectively lopped it over the pitcher in front of the second baseman. Ideally, what he's trying to do there is bunt the ball towards second, make the first baseman field it, and then beat the pitcher to first base.
Now we'll see if Borbone is running at all. I think one of the real surprises, Tom, regarding the Rangers this year is the lack of stolen bases for Borbone. He's got 2 steals in his last 60 games. One of those a steal of home. You're talking about Mitch Moreland having more steals at second base than Borbone over the last month or two. Gonzalez not an easy guy to get going against. There's another bunt, this time from Blanco, foul. And we note that the A's have a bunch of guys, Gonzalez included, that can pick you off. The A's have 20 successful pickoffs this year. That leads the American League. I guess the flip side of that, their pitchers also have 7 errors on pickoff attempts. And that's a lot, by the way. Blanco wanted to bunt. A big sweeping breaking ball, so he didn't, and now it's 0-2. A mild debate here with Blanco and Jim Reynolds. The bunt with 2 strikes. Look at Andres Blanco getting it done.
Some kind of bunt on that curveball. It's hard to hit a curveball. It's hard to bunt a good curveball like that, too. Came down and in on him. He adjusted the bat. Got the bunt down nicely to move the runner to second base. It was not an easy bunt to keep fair. If he doesn't keep it fair, he's out.
Look at that. Wow, that's a great shot on that Fox Exmo camera. He just kind of caught the ball, right? I mean, didn't really jab at the ball or anything like that. He just let it come to him and kind of absorbed the breaking ball. And a breaking ball low to Michael Young. A pattern has certainly developed here. A lot of curveballs coming from Gio Gonzalez. His last 17 innings now, he's allowed only 1 run. None in his last 12. There's a fastball, and Michael couldn't get it.
It makes fastball look a little bit faster. Michael had an at-bat against Braden last night where he threw him a couple of fastballs for the first 2 pitches and then 6 straight changeups. That's how good Braden's changeup was last night.
After the fastball, the off-speed pitch, and it's now 2-2. The Ford leaderboard tracking doubles. Since 2003, only 2 men have more. Now, so far, unless I'm wrong here, Tag, I think it's only 1 fastball to Michael. Hamilton waits on deck as the Rangers try to tie it up or take the lead here in the bottom of the 3rd. It's the rubber game of the 3-game series. To right field. Rajay Davis on the run, and Bourbon was in between the 2nd and 3rd. He's got to retreat, leave the inning to Josh Hamilton. Well, Davis hit one kind of like that himself. It ended up with a double to lead off at the top of the 3rd.
Davis is a good outfielder. He's a center fielder playing right field because Coco Crisp is playing center field and gets over and catches that ball easily. Very quick, gets a good jump. Gonzalez gives up an opponent's batting average well under 200 to left-hand hitters. Walked Josh the first time up.
Pretty amazing, Tom. The last 20 games for these Oakland A's, their starters have an ERA of about 1.9. And their bullpen is decent enough. It's not like you can even say, well, you better get them early. You just can't get these guys for much really at any time during the game. The A's play a lot of 3-2, 2-1, 4-3 kind of games. Hamilton, big swing, and trying to drop it into right center. He does. Tie game here in Arlington. The arc of the ball wasn't really commensurate with the violence of the swing. But it's good enough. It's an RBI, the 94th of the year for Josh Hamilton.
Well, the big hit for the A's in their rally back in the third was Davis's blooper slice down the right field line. It's kind of justice that the Ranger RBI comes on a pretty good pitch that jammed Josh. But the outfield's playing deep, and a little blooper falls into no man's land out there. Bumped by Bourbon. Beautiful sacrifice bunt by Blanco. Put Bourbon in position to score that run.
Yep, 2 bunts and a bloop. And the Rangers have equaled the A's here in the third inning. Vladimir Guerrero into left field. And that'll end the inning. The team's trading it. 1 apiece in the third, and now we go to the fourth. Baseball Incorporated. For more info on Chevy's commitment to youth league baseball, go to ChevyTexasBaseball.com. It's one of the great ballpark traditions here. Sunday, the kids take the field right ahead of the ball players. Not only great for the kids, but I've always maintained, Tom, it's a real nice way for these Ranger players just to kind of take a breath, get ready for battle. They wave to my mom over there. Okay, where's your mom? I'll wave to your mom. Puts everything in perspective. Colby Lewis, a daddy himself, going to work against Kevin Kuzmanov. Kevin and his wife, or excuse me, Colby and his wife Jenny have a son named Cade, who's 3, maybe 3.5 now. Cade doing all the cool toddler stuff, I guess, Tom, over in Japan. Learning how to walk and saying his first words and all of that. We mentioned earlier 2 years for Colby over in Hiroshima. And from all accounts, not only an enjoyable experience for Colby in terms of getting the pitching where he wanted it to get, but he said definitely a learning experience over there. I don't see how it couldn't be. You spend 2 years immersed in a different culture. One thing that Colby says they've got over there is 6-man starting rotations, meaning more days off. And every starter there, I guess, is on the Roger Clemens as an Astro plan. If you're not starting a road game, you don't need to show up.
Well, if they have a 6-man rotation, the other thing they do is they don't play as many games. They have, I don't know if there's twice as many off days, but probably another 10 off days in the course of the season that we don't have over here. And
Yeah.
so a starting pitcher is probably pitching about once a week, really.
Yeah, 27 starts a year instead of 35, which is usually the accepted maximum over here. Kuzmanov, a wave and a miss.
Kuzmarov has had to contend with that pitch with 2 strikes on him twice today, and with the same result.
1 down on strikeout number 5. Sounds like we're going to Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Josh. The biggest family on hand here at the ballpark today has to be the Gibson family. Heather, what's this all about?
We're having like a family reunion. There's about 30 of us here. We love the Rangers. We don't want to stay at home. We want to be here in the park, watch the Rangers go all the way to the playoffs. We have these kids, love them.
Adopted a few kids along the way. We're painted up. All right, they're having a good time. Way to go, Gibson family. Enjoy the game. Josh.
Well, sorry, Gibson family. Less of a good time here. Mark Ellis takes it out. And this is a guy that always seems to hit the Rangers very well. Mark Ellis. Only his 3rd home run this season, but his 2nd against the Rangers, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, the A's to hit a home run is unlikely to begin with. For Mark Ellis to hit a home run this year is really unlikely. And he hit it to a pretty deep part of the ballpark as well. I think if you're pitching to Mark Ellis and you throw him a pitch and maybe miss your location a little bit, you don't worry quite as much. But that particular time, he got the ball on the inside part of the plate instead of the outside part of the plate. Now let's just barely snuck it over the left field wall.
See a lot of home runs back in Oakland that clear the wall just like that. It's that big wall that they've got in left and in center. Larish flies out. Ellis is a career 347 hitter here in this ballpark. There's something seems to agree with him about Arlington. Though he has not been a power hitter this year. That home run makes it 2-1 A's. Another Ranger killer, Rajai Davis. He had the double to start the inning last inning. Fishing right there. Colby Lewis in pursuit of his 6th strikeout of the afternoon. Yeah, might as well keep doing that. Davis isn't going to touch that pitch. 6 strikeouts in 4 innings, but the home run by Mark Ellis has made it Oakland 2 and Texas 1. quickly to our trivia question brought to you by AT TEX. The last Rangers pitcher to finish among the top 10 in the league in strikeouts. Colby Lewis has a shot to do that. He's up to 163 for the year now, edging actually towards the top 5 right now. The Rangers haven't had a 200 strikeout season since Nolan Ryan in 1989. And barring an injury, Colby looks like he'll get there here in 2010. Cantu will zap one up into the crowd, midway up. He'll be followed by Murphy and Molina here in the bottom of the 4th. And this, I guess, Tag, if you're going to get to Gio Gonzalez, this is where he, if he is going to wobble, this is where he wobbles. More than half of the runs he's allowed this year have been in the 4th and the 5th innings. I mentioned earlier, Gonzalez does a nice job of keeping the ball down, keeping it in the yard. For a guy that throws as many curveballs as he does, that's, I guess, somewhat surprising. Bert Blyleven had one of the greatest curveballs of all time. He had a season where he gave up 50 home runs.
Yeah, if Gonzalez is still pitching at the age Bert was when he gave up 50 home runs, then he will have had a spectacular career.
So far, Gonzalez as many wins as losses in a brief major league career so far. But as we talked about at the top of the broadcast, it's already gotten appreciably better his freshman year to his sophomore year. ERA close to 6 a year ago. This year that ERA is closer to 3. And Cantu unable to get that. Looking around and realizes he's going to be tagged out. And again, Gonzalez coming in on certainly a high note. 7 shutdown innings against Cleveland last time out. On the outside corner, strike 1. And the one bugaboo for Gonzalez really hasn't showed up today. That's the walk. Only Josh Hamilton has drawn one. Colby Lewis, meantime, also only 1 walk, and he has struck out 6. Difference in the game, a Mark Ellis home run. Rangers got their run in the bottom of the 3rd, and it was a bunting exhibition. Andres Blanco, a 2-strike bunt on a curveball to get Bourbon to second base. Bourbon had bunted his way on. And Hamilton was jammed, but was able to fight the ball into right center field for an RBI. Murphy trying to send this one into center. He will, softly and safely, and a base hit for David Murphy.
Yeah, pretty nice job by David. He fouled off a fastball to hit, and then got a curveball and lined it softly in the center field for a base hit. Not a bad pitch. It's down against a guy who's given up about a 180 opponent's batting average against left-handed hitters this year. Last 2 hits, all 3 hits have been 3 of the 4 hits by lefties. Of course, 1 was a bunt.
Strike to Benji Molina. A team that got rid of Benji so he could become a Ranger. The San Francisco Giants pretty much where the A's are right now, on the outside looking in.
Boy, he is so good at blocking balls. He blocked some balls in the first game of this series that I don't know how he blocked one that bounced about 3 feet out in front of him. Didn't block it. He caught it and threw a runner out at second base. That ball there is a wild pitch with a lot of guys catching. He's just an excellent defensive player, and the way he blocks the ball is, I think, he puts him up in the upper group of catchers in the American League.
And they've invested in him. They just signed him to a 4-year extension about 3 weeks ago. Now, if he's a guy that can hit you 270 or 280 every year, and I don't see why he can't be that guy. He's got 15 to 20 home run a year power, and he does this.
That's a tough one to block. That ball bounced so far out in front of the plate that he actually started to stand up so that he could make his catcher's protector block the ball. If he stays down, it probably hits above his shoulder and goes back to the screen.
Breaking ball hit on the ground. It goes 6, 4, 3. Yes, he's on the bag. It is a double play. So Gio Gonzalez continues to be tough to solve, not just for the Rangers, but for the American League of late. A 2-1 ball game at the end of 4th. To finish among the top 10 in the league in strikeouts. And in 1999, Aaron Seeley was actually top 3. Got to 186, and that's the highest strikeout total any Ranger has had. 186 since 1999. That, of course, the last playoff season for the Rangers. Colby Lewis on the mound, and he's got a shot at that 186 and even a lot more than that. Steve Busby joins us to talk a little pitching, talk a little Colby Lewis, and obviously you'd love to have the pitch to Mark Ellis back. We know that, but notwithstanding, this is not a bad performance here from the Cobra today.
No, he is. He's got it going pretty good, Josh. And this is not atypical of what we've seen Colby Lewis do. And boy, in his last 8 or 9 starts, when he hasn't gotten the run support, he just has not changed the way he's thrown the ball, the way he's pitched, the effectiveness of his pitching. And boy, to me, that just tells you how much maturity Colby Lewis has gained over the last several years. That's not easy to do, to keep a good attitude and keep on pitching well.
When you watch him pitch, Buzz, he actually is a lot like Aaron Seeley. Neither one of them was really a hard thrower. Seeley had maybe a little bit bigger curveball, but Colby's curveball is effective, and they mix up their pitches well. So they're kind of similar, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Maybe not mechanically, but you're right. The selection of pitches, I think Colby has a little better command of 3 different pitches, as you said, than Seeley did. But they both go after hitters pretty effectively. I think they use both parts of the plate equally effectively and mix them in an off-speed pitch.
Seeley was a Game 1 starter for the Rangers in that 99 postseason. Actually pitched well into the 6th inning in that game, and then it all kind of fell apart.
I don't remember what Aaron's ERA was back then. It's probably a point, at least a point higher than what Kobe's is right now.
And Tom, you and I were talking about this the other day, and Buzz, I'm sure you'll want to chime in. I mean, not for nothing, the Rangers in '99, there was Seeley, and then Helling, and then Loiza. In left field, Hamilton diving face first. And they're going to say it's a trap. He didn't catch it cleanly. The fans are all cheering like it was a catch, but that is a single.
It may not have been a catch, but it was a great play. It shows you the jump, the athletic ability, the aggressiveness, and unfortunately, the good call by the umpire.
It's the number 9 hitter, Pennington, and boy, barely short hopped.
Great camera work right there.
Anyway, Buzz, looking at what the Rangers, if indeed there is an October, well, they're going to still be playing in October either way. It seems it goes till October 3rd, but there's going to be a second week of October. All due respect to Esteban Loiza, and you guys mentioned Seeley had the great year, and Rick Helling was always good for 6 innings to start, but Cliff Lee, C.J. Wilson, and then whatever you decide to do at number 3, whether it's Colby Lewis or Tommy Hunter, I got to give you some hope right there.
Well, the way they pitch, certainly, it's and Cliff Lee has the experience. He's been there before. He's done that, and I think that's invaluable to me, having a guy that not only is going to pitch effectively for you, but can impart the experiences he's had to the guys that haven't been there before. So yeah, I think you got 4 guys really you can choose from on this Ranger staff, and feel pretty confident running any of them out there.
And isn't it funny, I guess, in a way, that Harden and Feldman, the guys who were supposed to be the 1 and 2 this year, are not in our conversation.
Strange game sometimes. It's tough to figure out, and I think that helps you appreciate what scouts go through, and the evaluators of baseball talent. It's not that easy.
On 0-2, a turn and a toss to first.
I think it boils down to, Josh, and this applies to the postseason too. You never really know for sure about somebody until you put them between the white lines and things aren't going real well, or there's more pressure, if you will, on a particular game. Then you find out if a guy can play or not.
Just the fact that the Rangers might have that opportunity is pretty cool. Breaking ball, got him. That's strikeout number 7. And Coco Crisp has something to say. Hand on hip. A casual, polite conversation, but it's supposed to end, and now it does.
Well, if you're going to have an argument with the umpire, make it look a little more like a discussion than an argument. You can get your 2 cents worth in. That ball came back and almost caught the outside corner. One of those pitches that kind of go either way. Technically, you'd have to say Crisp had a little bit of an argument based on our pitch tracker anyway.
It's funny how they say you're not supposed to make contact with an umpire. Coco Crisp just did, but it was friendly contact, and I don't think it'll be written up.
That was just a little brush. Nothing major.
Now Derek Barton with the runner going, and Benji Molina stands and fires a bullet down there. Safe, the call at second base.
Well, the sacrifice bunt didn't work, so on one pitch, they make up for it with a stolen base.
You see Pennington just dragging the fingers across the bag and hanging on for dear life with that ring finger. Otherwise, he's off the base and he'd be tagged out. A 47 of the first 65 pitches, Buzz, from Colby Lewis today were strikes.
That's pretty typical. Colby he just continues to impress. Nothing fancy, nothing out of the ordinary for most guys, stuff-wise, but certainly good command, a good idea of how he can best pitch with his stuff. And I think, to me, that's the key for most guys in the major league level. It's not a matter of let's go out and see how hard I can throw and how sharp my breaking ball can be. how do you take your stuff out between the white lines on an everyday basis and get the most out of it? And that changes from game to game. Sometimes it changes from inning to inning. But I think Colby has done a very good job of pitching within himself.
Didn't miss by much right there. It brings up an interesting kind of, sit around with the guys kind of argument. I mean, would you rather have a guy that every start is 6 innings and 3 runs? That was a strike right there. Or, let's say, every other start is a 9-inning shutout, but the other start is 4 innings of 7-run baseball. Do you want the guy who's hit and miss, or the guy who's 6 innings, 3 runs every time? I don't know what the right answer is.
You look at it a couple ways. If a guy has the ability to throw a shutout every other time out, then you figure out a way to either have him miss the start in between or have the guy who's throwing the shutouts show up every time. One of the two.
Well, one thing about the guy that throws a shutout every time, he's going to win 16 games for you, and his ERA is going to be a little less than 4. So
yeah.
I'm going with the shutout every other time.
I think there's probably room to get better there. The other guy, maybe
I'm
not.
going to figure out how to get that other game a little bit better.
Yeah, if you trust your coaching staff, I think you can fix them up a little bit. But, you look at the consistency of Colby Lewis. The last 5 starts now, guys, it's been either 6 innings, 6 1/3, or 6 2/3. Every time he gets you 18 outs, 19 or 20.
Well, and this is an era, too, Josh, where, for the most part, the complete game is irrelevant for most starting pitchers. And that makes it even more impressive. What Colby has done is equivalent to a guy, say, 15 or 20 years ago, going into the 7th inning every single time and into the 8th inning most of the time.
Yeah.
As opposed to what Colby's putting up.
Suzuki back to Lewis. Can he turn it? No, he's going to fire it into center field. It's set up for a double play. Instead, it is now 3-1. And Lewis pounds his glove as he walks around on that mound. He knows he messed up.
Yeah, it's too bad. You got the catcher running, and so you're not going to have a difficult time turning the double play if you make a good throw. Unfortunately, he didn't.
Isn't that something? A guy can throw nothing but strikes to home plate all day, and then he's got to turn around and throw just something borderline to second base, and this happens.
What you have to be careful of, and what you just saw Colby Lewis deal with, when he caught the ball and turned around, he didn't shift his feet far enough to get on the top of the mound to throw. He was throwing uphill. And you've got to make sure you move your feet enough, get on top of where that rubber is, so you're throwing at least on flat ground. And that's a fundamental mistake for Colby, but one I know he knows how to do and has done it many times.
In that brief moment where you've got the ball, I mean, maybe this is silly to suggest. Do you forget that you're standing on a slope? You just got the ball and you're just going to...
No, you've had to have done it so many times, Josh, that it's instinct. It's reaction. And that's why pitcher's fielding practice goes on every single day during spring training and gets so boring. But it's so necessary in situations like that. You can't think about how to do it when you're in the process of trying to do it. That has to be your body reacting to what it's done all along.
Meantime, 1-1 the count to Jack Cust. Hard hit. That's a fair ball. Cantu gets the one out there, but a run's going to sneak on in. And they finally will tag out Suzuki.
That's one. You got to throw that ball to second base first and back to first base, otherwise you give up a run.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Well, Buzz, it was an interesting inning. It was nice to have you here.
Thank you.
All right. Oakland on top. advantage. The Rangers taking on the Yankees the 10th, 11th, and 12th of September. Sunday, September 12th, it's a Dreyer's Ice Cream Sunday. Kids 13 and under get ice cream for just $1. Tickets going fast for that whole series, so jump online and grab them while you can. TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS. The Rangers will have to rally against Gio Gonzalez. The newest Ranger, Alex Cora, 0 for 1 so far. Now the Rangers making certainly a physical error and then maybe even a mental error in that top of the 5th, allowing the A's to score a couple. Cora popping out. We'll go back to that inning-ending. Well, it was a double play, but the run came in.
It's 1st and 3rd and 1 out. As soon as he steps on first base, now it's not a force out, and the run scores. On that hard hit ball, you've got to do one of two things: throw to second and have the ball come back to you for a double play, which ends the inning, or you've got to throw the ball home to keep the runner from scoring. You don't get a double play that way, but that type of a double play where you eliminate the force out lets a run score. And the way Gonzalez is throwing right now, you just can't afford to give up that 4th run right there. That was a careless play.
Yeah, it's a bonus run for the Oakland A's, and not that Gio Gonzalez usually needs much more than 3. The stat that scares you is Borbon flies to center when Gonzalez gets 3 or more runs of support in his brief major league career. It's happened 25 times now, and he's only lost once. 16 wins, a few no decisions, only 1 loss when he gets even 3 runs, and now that number is not 3, it's 4. So a little tougher sledding here. 2 down, and Blanco top of the order. Gonzalez started the day with a top 10 ERA, 3.24. Miami native, only 24 years old. Slowly hit towards short. Pennington got it over there, and the Rangers quickly and quietly dispatched in the bottom of the 5th. It stays 4-1. Southwest brought to you by your Texas Chevy dealers, proud sponsor of Texas baseball, and by Verizon Wireless. Own the airwaves, rule the air. And also keep the Oakland A's from scoring. That's the MO for Colby Lewis right now. Colby has been dispensing strikes all day. But his own error and some careless Ranger play has made this a 4-1 Oakland A's lead right now. Kevin Kuzminoff has struck out twice. He's going to get things going for the Oakland ball club here, top 6. The A's have had a tough stretch here, Tag. 22 of their last 33 games have been against a first-place team. And up next, they've got the New York Yankees on the road for 4. High drive, left center by Kuzminoff. That ball takes off. That ball is buried in the bleachers. It is 5-1.
That's one of the few breaking balls that Colby has hung. He's been keeping him down. In fact, he struck Kuzminoff out twice on sliders down and out of the strike zone. Unfortunately, this breaking ball is high and in the middle of the plate. And Kuzminoff hit it high and far to left center field. Hit it a long way.
Well, the A's now have 2 12 home run hitters. Kuzminoff becomes the second one. He was made to look bad the first couple of at-bats. But then gets his revenge right here.
A little late getting around to thanking some people today, Josh.
All right.
I want to thank Suzette Schreiber from Windhorse, Texas, for another great batch of cookies, chocolate chip and pecan cookies. She's at the game with 3 of their oldest grandkids, Cooper, Caitlin, and Nolan. They're here for Chest Protector Backpack Day, and they want to say hi to their 3 youngest grandsons, Rylan, Corbin, and Isaac, back home in Windhorst. Thank you very much for the cookies. And also Patty Potek and Gary Gunter for the sour cream apple pie, snickerdoodles, and barbecue sauce. Now there's a combination.
Yeah, that wasn't all together.
No, it's not one. It's not one dish, but
somewhere Bobby Flay is going, wait, what?
Thank you very much, Patty.
1-2 the count to Ellis. He homered last time up. His first home run and close to 200 at bats for Mark Ellis.
Patty has a little note on this that says, "Could you please send the barbecue sauce to Mark McLemore?" Well, I haven't seen Mac here today, but we'll put it in the refrigerator and save it for him.
Ellis is going to take aim at the outfield again, but this time easy pickings for Bourbon. I think that kind of sums up the frustration today, Tom, going back to Ellis in the 4th inning, the guy that hadn't homered since June. 196 at bats, and that's just kind of the way today has been. Today's the day he got one.
Yep. And he hit it to a pretty deep part of the ballpark, 390 feet. It looks like to that part of the ballpark, the ball is flying pretty well today. Just a matter of getting it up there and hitting it well.
Larish gets one up there, and boy, if this drops, you're really looking for the Oakland A's thumping their chests and saying it's our day. And that's exactly what happened there with Larish just kind of poking it in between 3 white shirts, Hamilton, Bourbon, and Blanco. And Larish will be removed immediately here. Gabe Gross to pinch run.
Well, Gross is probably going to be a defensive replacement at some point in time in the game anyway. And they've got a lead, so now seems like an appropriate time.
Double play is in order here, but a tough guy to double up in Rajay Davis. Obviously, the Rangers have some work to do to make sure that Colby is in contention for that long-awaited win number 10. He's been stuck on 9 for 8 starts in a row now. The team takes off for Kansas City when this game is done. The Royals about a month ago got rid of a lot of players that we've been used to seeing in a Kansas City uniform. Guys like Scott Podsednik and Jose Guillen. C.J. Wilson pitches tomorrow. Cliff Lee on Tuesday. Tommy Hunter Wednesday. And isn't that something with Kansas? I mean, Kansas City will look and see, wow, we got guys with an ERA of 3.02, 3.26, and 3.66 that we got to deal with. There aren't a lot of late August where the Rangers have gone into Kansas City and run 3 guys out there with ERAs in the 3s. Runner goes, and a ground ball base hit. This is Oakland's day right now. And Davis continues to just do what he feels like doing against the Texas Rangers. It's been going on for a couple of years. Back-to-back singles, and now Pennington comes up. Mike Maddox will take a stroll on out there. The pitch count's not bad at all, 85 for Lewis. There's not been any action in the Ranger pen. As that conversation is about to break up, let's quickly say hello to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, this Rangers offense could use a little boost, and it will get one tomorrow with the return of Nelson Cruz. His 3rd stint on the DL will be coming to an end. Nelly says the key is to be cautious, but not apprehensive.
I try to play normal, because if you think about hamstring stuff, you're going to put yourself in situations or you can steal bases, but you don't want to do it because you're scared to get hurt, or run the base hard or try to catch a ball. So I just try to be normal and play my game,
2 left hamstring issues, 1 right hamstring issues. Nelly definitely antsy to get back in that lineup tomorrow against Kansas City. Josh and Tom.
I am. Thank you very much. Frisco's lineup including Kinsler and Cruz. Runners at the corners for Cliff Pennington. It's bottom of the order, Tom. A collective 4 for 5 here. The 8 and 9 hitters for the A's today. Davis and Pennington. Rangers for the 2nd straight day are getting 4 hit. It was Dallas Braden yesterday. The lefty of choice today is Gio Gonzalez. The bunt getting a run home from 3rd. The play to 1st, and Lewis gets it there. Who has 2 bunts for Pennington today from that number 9 spot in the order. That one able to squeeze home a run. 6-1 A's.
That was nice play. The runner at 3rd base, Gross, wasn't breaking. It wasn't a straight squeeze play. It was more what you would call a safety squeeze. The runner at 3rd sees the bunt, waits to make sure that the bunt is down in a place where he can score. He sees the bunt down, and now he comes home. And it turns out to be an effective RBI and a sacrifice.
Two down for Coco Crisp, who has yet to put the ball in play. 2 strikeouts and a walk. Get you back to that bunt. There you can see only after the bunt gets down does Gross come in. Well, the Rangers won the game Friday night handily, 7-3. Since then, they've been outscored 10-1 by this Oakland team that is trying to convince itself that there is still a playoff race to be waged. Pass the mound into center field. And again, just every little thing stacks up like it's a day for the green and gold. Leaders, bloopers, home runs from guys that never hit them. It's all happening today for the A's.
Yeah, really, you can go back to last inning when the game was 2-1. Men on 1st and 3rd and 1 out, and Kobe got the comebacker from Suzuki. If he throws that ball accurately to second base, he's out of that inning, and the score is still 2-1 in a very close 1-run game. It's probably an entirely different game. And that really was the one play where the game got out of hand.
Kirkman is up in the Ranger bullpen, but we'll see if Colby Lewis can give the team 6 innings again, as he always seems to do. It's the first time all year, Tom, that Colby's allowed more than 5 runs in a game. Kirkman, who's been brilliant since coming up from AAA. Even if Barton gets on, it might be that Colby stays around to face Suzuki. Go righty-righty. And he's handled Suzuki well today. Boy, it looks like it should be 2-1, huh?
A little bit of a tight zone.
That one's definitely up, and that is a league-leading 84th walk allowed to, or taken, I should say, by Derek Barton. And yeah, this is unusual here. I mean, just from a matchup perspective. But I guess what Ron Washington is saying is, hey, it's 5 straight base runners against Colby now. And time to make the change right here. Kirkman comes on to face the righty, Kurt Suzuki. The A's have 3 runs in, and they're leading 7-1. .2010 individually numbered bats selling for $99.95 plus shipping and handling. Call 866-280-BATS or go to the web and check it out at BigTimeBats.com. Well, Colby Lewis, for the first time since his last win, ironically, does not get through 6 innings. It takes you back to July the 16th. Last time he didn't go 6, he goes 5 2/3 today, allowing 8 hits, striking out 7, but allowing a couple of runs on home runs and 7 runs overall. Michael Kirkman on your Verizon Wireless call to the bullpen.
There's been 3 good outings for Michael. Groomed as a starting pitcher, getting an opportunity to pitch in the big leagues as a reliever and doing a nice job of it.
He's been up here for 9 days now after going 13-3 at AAA. There's C.J. Wilson like 3.09 ERA. He was leading the Pacific Coast League in strikeouts and was 2nd in wins, had the 3rd lowest ERA when he was brought up. Some years you say it's about time, but of course the Rangers have been pitching so well top to bottom, there was just no room for a guy like that. Suzuki, the 8th man to bat here in a 3-run 6th. Hasn't been a real big inning yet for the A's today. They got a couple of 1s, a 2 and a 3. Their total is 7. High fly ball from Suzuki. Bourbon and Hamilton discuss. It is Bourbon who squeezes it. Inning ends, but damage done. 7-1 Athletics. Dinner for two at Sonic. Good luck to Frankie Douglas of Decatur. Grand Slam was worth $25,000. We might have just had the closest ever dot race in the history of the ballpark, Tommy. Photo finish. Fans are booing the results because Red came up with the tape on his dot. But Blue has announced the winner, so we have controversy here at the ballpark. That will be reviewed by the dot board. Wish we could say we had a close ball game going. It is not the case today. Oakland's got a 7-1 lead, and they've got Gio Gonzalez on the mound. And Gonzalez in search of his 12th win. Allowed a bloop single by Josh Hamilton for an RBI today, but that's been it. Defensively, a couple changes for the A's, with Gross staying in the game. Wave and a miss by Michael Young. Davis moves from right to left to accommodate Gross. And he stays in the game in right. You see the breaking balls keep getting flipped up there from Gonzalez. You're waiting for a Ranger to just smash one somewhere. It's just not happening.
It's a good curveball that he's throwing. That's why the opponents are hitting .224 against him. A combination of an effective fastball and really one of the better curveballs in the league has befuddled a lot of American League hitters this year. At the 9th best ERA, the 6th best opponent's batting average.
33 innings now against the Rangers and 6 runs allowed. Tough draw today. Hamilton with that lone Ranger RBI. Not the Lone Ranger, the only Ranger RBI today. His 94th of the year. You got Josh with 94. You got Vladdy with 96. Two guys coming right up on that magic number 100.
When you look at the Rangers against left-handed pitching, and Oakland's thrown out 3 very good left-handed pitchers, you remember that so far this year, Kinsler's a .403 hitter against lefties. Cruz is a .349 hitter against lefties. and they're being replaced by guys.
Bye-bye. Upper deck facing for Josh Hamilton. And finally, this crowd has something to shout about. Home run number 31 for Hambo.
Turn that fastball around.
The first homer allowed by Gonzalez in about 40 innings. And now we're talking about 95 runs batted in and a Sonic Slam winner.
Well, just to finish that thought, you've got a 350 hitter, a 400 hitter against left-handed pitching. 3 lefties, and the guys replacing them are left-hand hitters. Today facing a left-hand pitcher who gives up an opponent's batting average to left-hand hitters of about 180. Although you wouldn't know it by watching Josh, who's walked, singled in a run, and now homered.
He's been the Ranger offense today. But you bring up a great point, Tag. I mean, here are the Rangers with a run of 5 straight games against left-hand starters. Kinsler and Cruz are maybe the 2 guys you really want in there more than anybody. And they're in Frisco. Nelly, as Emily Jones reported, very close to coming back. We'll see him tomorrow. Going to be a little bit longer for Kinsler. Through it all, though, the Rangers have maintained this lead of somewhere between 7 games and 9 games. They've had a lead like that for 35 days in a row, between 7 and 9.5. The Rangers have pretty much idled that stretch of 5 weeks or so, playing just a little bit above 500, but they haven't lost any of their lead.
Well, the pitchers in this series and pitchers in general have really been pounding the fastball in to Vladdy. All 3 lefties have given him a pretty good dose of fastballs on the inside part of the plate. So far in this game, he's popped up to second, popped up to left field, jammed on those good fastballs in.
Breaking ball hangs, and Vladdy punching it to center. It stays in the air for Coco Crisp.
Yeah, the curveball that he got the good part of the bat on and ripped into center field. Unfortunately, it was right at Crisp.
Now we hear the music from Chuck Morgan playing. Must be Jorge Cantu coming up. Mariachi Vargas, the artist. Chuck says everybody's been asking him, what is that song? Who is that artist when Cantu bats? San de la Negra is the name of the song, according to Chuck. Bullet for a strike. You're lauding Gonzalez for that curveball, and he can still paint that inside corner at 92. And Cantu just has not gotten untracked as a Ranger, simply stated. He was a cleanup man for the Florida Marlins, was an RBI machine for them. Remember, he started the year setting a major league record. 10 straight games to start the season with a hit and an RBI in every one of them. But as a Ranger, unable to get an RBI quite yet.
And even for Florida, he did his best work knocking in runs early in the season. Slowed down a little bit in August, July.
Suzuki shaken up. Cantu right now 6 for his last 36. Fouls it into the crowd. Well, the A's get action in their bullpen for the first time. The pitch count for Gonzalez on a warm afternoon is in the mid-90s. He strikes out Cantu. He's had a really rough day. There was a Josh Hamilton homer, though. Number 31 for Josh. And the Rangers getting a little closer. It is 7-2. Your BBVA Compass video summary. We're just going to show you what Gio Gonzalez has been all about today in pursuit of his 12th win of the year. So far in 6 innings, he's allowed just the 5 hits and the strikeout pitch working.
He's just had a good combination, fastball, curveball today. He's dropped the curveball occasionally on the outside corner, and more often than not, broke it sharply down and in to the right-hand hitters. Been tough to contend with.
The guy that's known for walking people really has not done that. He's only walked 1. That was Josh Hamilton. 4 strikeouts for him. Michael Kirkman took over last inning for Colby Lewis. Colby's own throwing error hurt him today. The shift on here for Jack Cust will be followed by Kuzminoff and Ellis. Hamilton driving in both the Ranger runs today in front of a crowd of 37,000 plus. 37,188. Rangers continue to draw well. They went over the 2 million mark for the season yesterday. Boy, into the shift. That is exactly the kind of day it's been. Cust seldom ever hits a ground ball to the left of second base, and that's exactly what he does right there to get on to lead off the 7th inning. Brings up Kevin Kuzminoff. If the Rangers don't rally, they will have a losing record against these Oakland A's this year. That happened to them last year as well. High pop-up, Cantu. Circles under it, and this one coming back. He's got it, and that would have been very close to being a fair ball. Bill Welke just now motioned that it ended up foul, barely. But
sure didn't look like it.
No, I was waiting on Welke just so I could put it in the scorebook correctly, but I'm with you. I thought that was going to be fair. The last 27 games now, Tom, back to last year against the A's, the Rangers have won only 9. maybe it's for the best they are almost done head-to-head with them. They do have to go to Oakland one more time, play them in September. It is the A's, not the Angels, closest to the Rangers in pursuit of that playoff spot in the AL West. Another one popped to the right side, and here's Murphy. The Angels are playing Baltimore today, and scoreless in the 6th inning, but the Angels suddenly, Tom, are a full 11 back in the loss column.
And if you look at that September schedule, the A's have the 4 games against the Rangers on the weekend before the last week of the season. The Rangers are at home against Seattle and the Angels. The A's go on the road against the Angels and then Seattle. I think that's one good thing about the schedule. There's a lot of things I didn't like about this year's schedule. The way the off days were bunched together and not spread out really, I don't think was beneficial to the players anyway. But the good part of it is you play within your division, and in the Rangers, there's only 3 Rangers division. There's only 3 other teams, and that's who you play the last 2 weeks of the year. So if you are in a race, you got a chance to do something about it. You'll usually play. You'll play the other team twice in the last 2 weeks of the season. 2 different series, one home, one on the road.
1-1 to Gabe Gross.
Let's see, 1 at home and on the road against Seattle and the Angels, and then for the Rangers on the road 4 against Oakland.
Rangers will end the season right here at home. Seattle for 3 and the Angels for 4. So the A's will not have a chance that last week to do anything head-to-head.
In September, the road series that stack up to be tough road series, 3 at Minnesota on this trip and 4 at Toronto, and then the 4 at Oakland. That's 11 road games against 3 teams that have played very well in their home ballpark against the Rangers.
Now, the Rangers have not won a game in Minnesota or Toronto this year. Line shot, it gets by Cantu, but it's foul. One break that the Rangers maybe get when they go to Toronto, Tom. The Blue Jays have shut down Brandon Morrow for the year. Even though he's not unhealthy at this point, they just want to save wear and tear, and that's a guy that you would prefer not to face.
Well, the way he's been pitching in the last month and a half, that is a good thing. He's been probably throwing as well as any 4 or 5 pitchers in the American League. He's had big strikeout totals, and I think as a power pitcher, after what happened to Steven Strasburg, they are probably erring on the side of caution. Probably a very smart thing to do for a team that is not in a pennant race right now.
Although that's a team, and it's just a function of geography. They're 68 and 61. They'd be right in the race if they were in the West. They'd be 5 games behind the Rangers with 4 games left at their ballpark. But Toronto is definitely not geographically west. Taken, strike 3 to end the top of the 7th. We'll keep it right here. Rangers trailing 7-2 to the Oakland A's. God Bless America about to be sung, and we'll let you hear it here on a Sunday afternoon. Fox Sports Southwest brought to you by the Ford F-150. Ford is the best in Texas. And by 5 Hour Energy. Hour of energy now, no 2:30 feeling later. Well, the Rangers will no longer be facing Gio Gonzalez. I guess that's got to be considered good news. He went 6 innings, allowed just 2 runs. Craig Breslow will take over, get into his 60th game of the year. The former Yale Bulldog. They're also known as the Elis, but I think they're more ferociously referred to as the Bulldogs. We've seen Breslow get out there and save situations this year and knock those down against the Rangers. He's going to face Murphy and Molina. And the Rangers try to chisel back. They've got 9 outs left to them today.
I think one of the saves he had was here when he carved right through the middle of the order for the Rangers in about 10 pitches to get a save in a close game.
Murphy swings right away, lofts it into center field for Coco Crisp. And 1 down. Breslow's a nice story. A guy that just absolutely wanted to make baseball his living because it was his passion. He's got his degree from Yale, biochemistry and molecular biophysics. You know, because biochemistry wasn't enough. But the baseball thing has worked fine for him, even though he had to kind of slog through it in the independent leagues for a while. He was a New Jersey Jackal several years ago, but crawled away from that. Got up with the Padres and the Red Sox, the Indians, the Twins, and now the A's. One ball, 1 strike to Molina. That Angels game against the Orioles, by the way, still 0-0 in the 7th. The Angels right now 4 games under 500, and as I'm sure you guys talked about on the air yesterday, Tag, they're now kind of in sell mode. Mike Scioscia's got to go forward without his closer. Ryan Fuentes flipped to Minnesota.
Well, the Orioles went into Anaheim. Brad Bergeson shut them completely down in the first game. Kevin Millwood shut them down yesterday. And right now they're in a scoreless tie in the 7th inning. So the Oriole pitching has gone in there and given up 1 or 2 runs in 3 games so far.
Alexio Gondo now up in the Ranger bullpen. Colby Lewis went 5 2/3. Michael Kirkman an inning and a third. That ball popped into shallow right field. Hangs up long enough, and Gabe Gross on a dead march to take it. C.J. Wilson tomorrow, we mentioned, against Kyle Davies of Kansas City. Tom and I will have the call for you from beautiful Kauffman Stadium. That is a 7:10 first pitch tomorrow here on Fox Sports Southwest. Cliff Lee facing off against the former Angel Sean O'Sullivan on Tuesday. Wednesday, Tommy Hunter tries to go to 12-2 against the one-time #1 pick in the country, Brian Bullington.
Rangers will miss Zach Greinke in that series. He pitched yesterday.
Kansas City right now trying to stay out of the cellar in the Central. It's going to be the Royals or the Indians finishing last.
One of the guys that's become one of Kansas City's better starters this year is Bruce Chen.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
Pitched and won today. He's 9-7 on the season.
Who'd have thunk it?
Been with about every team in baseball.
Including these Texas Rangers.
Yeah, we had them for a while.
Kansas City beating Cleveland 6-2 today, so the Royals are 2 games up on the Indians. 3 and 1 to Cora. Slugged into the crowd. And right out of the crowd. Cora well traveled himself. LA, Cleveland, Boston, Mets, and now the Rangers. He's seen action at every infield position in his career. We were talking about Manny Ramirez earlier, Tom, and one of the real trusted friends in baseball that Manny Ramirez has is Alex Cora. Still no word on if the White Sox have grabbed him yet. That ball popped into left. Shortstop back left fielder on. Davis will make that catch. The Rangers fly out to center, right, and left. Go away quietly in the 7th inning. It has been the A's day today as they try to get back to within 7.5. They go and play the Yankees, so next, 4 at Yankee Stadium. But at the very least, unless the Rangers rally, they'll have some feel-good as they get on that plane and go today. Mark Teixeira, by the way, scratched from the Yankee lineup today with a bad thumb. The Yankees, of course, playing some meaningful games. They're deadlocked with Tampa Bay atop the AL East, with Boston only 5.5 behind. 3-team race. The Central is a 2-team race. Minnesota and Chicago. They're separated by 4 in the loss column. Tag, I think the other good race right now in baseball is the National League East, with Atlanta and Philadelphia separated by 2 games. They got some head-to-head still to go themselves.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good wild card race going in the National League as well. Number of teams still in contention through that wild card race.
The AL wild card race is kind of a jip this year, to be honest, because essentially it's whoever is the round robin loser of New York, Tampa Bay, and Boston. One of those teams is going to get spun out of that little vortex and land as a wild card. But in the National League, you can make a case for Philly, San Francisco, St. Louis, Colorado, even the Dodgers. Three different divisions represented there. Check, swing, and see you later. Rajay Davis down on strikes. Cliff Pennington comes up next. He's been involved in a couple of bunt plays today. One of them knocking in a run. Your Coors Light Freeze Camp. Safety squeeze, right?
Two very nice bunts by Pennington. Sacrifice bunt turned into a base hit down the third base line. This turns into a sacrifice and an RBI for him. Very good asset. Hitting down at the bottom of the order. You have speed. You should become an excellent bunter. Part of the game, part of what's expected you at that part of the lineup.
Well, Pennington was 2 for his last 24 coming in it today, but with a bunt as a weapon. He's obviously had a very nice day today. The Rangers will have 9-1-2 coming up in their batting order in the bottom of the 8th, trying to set it up for the big guys. And a couple men on and let a Hamilton or a Guerrero hit one out, and you got a shot here today. Tom, we were just talking about that National League East. The Braves were trailing at home today 6-1 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, and they won that game. Got 3 in the 8th and 3 in the 9th. A walk-off. Brian McCann with a homer to win it.
Been some great games like that the last couple of weeks.
They really have.
Huge
Pennington,
comebacks.
Yeah, Pennington's on again. Coco Crisp will come up next, and we go to Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Josh. Time for the Progressive fan of the game. It has to be Chris, a hairdresser from Addison. Check this out. What do you call this, Chris?
I call it a mohawk. I got the blue with the red teeth for the Rangers, baby.
How long did that take to put up?
Took me about 45 minutes.
All right. There's the back. There's the shirt. There's that. Congratulations. It's a close second right here. You know what I mean?
Let's go, Rangers! Josh Hamilton for MVP, baby!
Good mouth. There we go. All right, way to go, guys.
Oh, it's dangerous! It's dangerous!
Thank you, Jim. That's
He's probably thinking, I always wanted to do that, and now I had a good way to do it. Touch someone's mohawk.
I was going to say, now we know that's a mohawk. A toss to first from Ogando, just kind of shot puts it over there. This is almost like that little aquarium they've got at that ballpark in Tampa, St. Pete. Everybody can now go by and just kind of see what it's like to touch that thing.
They saw Jim do it. They want to get in the act now.
In for a strike to Coco Crisp.
I don't know if there's been a pitcher we've seen all year more consistent with their velocity than Ogando.
You're probably right.
It seems like every pitch is 96 miles an hour, and if it's not, it's 95 or 97.
Seven runs, 9 hits, no errors today for Oakland. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Rangers. Kind of a muted crowd of 37,000 plus today. Crisp with a line drive base hit. He started out 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. And ever since that polite disagreement he had with the home plate umpire, Jim Reynolds. 2 for 2. Mike Maddox out to the mound to talk to Ogando with 2 on, 1 out. Now, the next time the Rangers are home, it's not until Friday, September the 10th. It will be the New York Yankees in for 3. Big weekend. The Tigers in after that for 2. But yeah, the Yankees on September 10th up next in Arlington. Let's go to Emily Jones.
Well, Josh, Ron Washington announced today that the pitching rotation will remain intact through the Kansas City series. Then everyone will take the day off on Thursday. And so from then on out, everyone will be pitching on 5 days rest rather than 4 days rest. So the next 3 the same, then everyone a day off, then it starts back up again. So everyone will get 5 days rest, then it'll go back to the normal after that. So Lee and everyone else getting a little extra time off.
All right, thanks, Em. And yeah, obviously with Cliff Lee, what was originally game planned is that no matter what, just every 5th day, he would be out there on the mound. But for the first time, he will get kind of a little buffer, just an extra day to recover. He and everybody else. Here's Barton. Ball 1. A very patient hitter, almost to a fault, is Derek Barton. 2 more walks today. Now leads the American League with 84 of them.
Hey, anytime you've got more walks than strikeouts, you're doing something right. He now has 84 walks and only 80 strikeouts.
Ogando ahead 1 and 2. The 11-game hit streak, though, is in jeopardy. Sack fly, 2 walks, and a bounce out. Fouled away. So the Rangers outscored 4-0 yesterday and 7-2 today. The A's on the brink of being put away. Give them some credit. They've bounced back. Played well these last 2. Pennington and Crisp are your base runners. And Kurt Suzuki on deck. Runners are going. Molina throwing a third. The tag got him. They try the double steal up 7-2. Pennington out at third.
Well, with Ogando at 20 pitches and only 1 out, Rangers will take that out. It's an easy throw for Benji without a right-hand hitter there. There's no one in your way. You got to have a clear shot to third. And all it takes is an accurate throw, and Pennington's an easy out.
Close play, but Michael tagging him on the leg going in. Towards left, and there's Hamilton. Ogando out of the inning, and the Rangers now with Bourbon, Blanco, and Young due up, trying to settle up for Hamilton. A 7-2 score. Rangers finishing up a homestand where they will have a winning record. It's starting to look like 4-3 instead of 5-2, unless they can rally now against Craig Breslow and company. The A's got 6 solid innings out of Gio Gonzalez today. Lefty to lefty, Bourbon just kind of flails away there. He's behind 0-2. One of those days today. Really, ever since Colby Lewis fired that ball into center field on the double play ball. This was a 1-1 game after 3. The team's trading runs in the third. One of those tight pitchers dually looking games. But then it just kind of got sloppy, and the Rangers are down by 5. In play towards third, Kuzmanov hunts it down. The stretch by Barton. Boy, he did the splits over there to get a speedy runner. Chris Davis style at first base for Barton.
You get a good look at the splits right here. Pretty much as far as he can get to make that play. It's like a pulled groin, pulled hamstring waiting to happen.
That is uncomfortable to watch. Did you ever do that, Tag?
No, I could never. I was never.
Never that flexible?
No, never that flexible.
What about all that yoga your son Ben is doing now? Can he do the splits?
I bet you can. He probably can. Maybe not quite to that extent, though.
Think you'd agree to come up to the booth and give us a demonstration and we'd tape it?
I'd say you'd have a better chance of flying than having him do that.
I'll work on that then. You know, thinking one thing about the A's here today, Tom. Already they've got the 7 runs on 10 hits, so maybe it's not a great day to bring this up. But can you imagine if they had hung on to Carlos Gonzalez? What a year that kid's having. Just hit his 29th home run of the year for Colorado today.
He really is exactly what they don't have right now, which is a middle of the order, young, developing star. In fact, I guess you'd have to say he has developed now. He's not developing anymore.
The Rockies on the fringe of the wild card possibility in the National League. Gonzalez, I think, a big reason for that. Big swing for Blanco. That's not really his game, right? The big swing, more of a contact hitter.
No, but you know he does tend to be aggressive with a pretty healthy swing. He just didn't catch up with that one. And, you know, when the A's traded Carlos Gonzalez, they traded him in the trade for Matt Holliday. And so in that kind of a trade where you're trading young prospects for a veteran guy, you're hoping that the veteran guy comes in, provides you some offense, and allows you to become a little bit more of a serious contender. And if he doesn't, then you trade him and try to get the young players back. And they didn't become a contender. When they traded Holliday, they didn't get back nearly what they traded.
The numbers for Gonzalez this year, believe it or not, are not that far off from Josh Hamilton's. 29 homers, 89 runs batted in, and a batting average of pretty close to 330.
Yeah, those are definitely superstar numbers. And I don't think there's any way that the A's felt he would become this kind of a player. Otherwise, there's no way that you would trade that kind of a player. He'd never be available in a trade for a veteran guy. Probably pretty safe to say Arizona didn't think he'd become that kind of a player either. Otherwise, they wouldn't have traded him in the trade for Dan Herron to the A's in the first place.
Sometimes you just never know, exactly when the guy settles in and becomes a star. Look at Adrian Gonzalez. Just creaming the ball for the San Diego Padres right now. A Marlin, a Ranger. It's kind of passed around, and you just never really know when it's all going to come together, on whose watch that's going to happen. 2-2 to Michael. Josh Hamilton on deck. You'd love to see Michael get on. Give Josh a shot to hit one out one more time. Ground ball towards second. Ellis, very sure-handed. Will keep Josh Hamilton in that on-deck circle. We are at the end of 8. A's 7. And the Rangers 2. For the 9th.
Hello, Josh. Yeah, I tell you what, fans here in the ballpark have a lot to look forward to yet. The comeback, of course, and then the Los Lonely Boys concert after the game. I'm just Los Lonely Boy all by myself here on the Rangers live set, but I'll be joined by a couple of guys today. Jim and Steve will both be here for our post-game recap that we call Rangers Live, and we'll be talking about this one, wrapping it up. Hopefully a big comeback coming still. Guys, back to you.
Los Lonely Boys from San Angelo, I believe. Thank you very much, Mr. Radigan. Yeah, that is the post-game concert. The Mercy Me concert, well attended yesterday after the game. Matt Harrison will begin the 9th inning. And a 7-2 score. The fans, well, those that have hung around, hoping for that miracle bottom of the 9th. The A's otherwise will be within 7.5 for the Rangers as Texas goes off on the lonely road for a while. 11 days on the road coming up. You're all packed and ready, are you, Tag?
I am packed and ready to go.
How'd the packing procedure go this time?
Pretty much down to a routine right now. Get the suitcase out a couple of days ahead of time. Don't do it all at once. Do it like in a methodical way. Got a checklist written down.
Do you see?
So I don't forget anything.
I think I got to borrow your checklist or make my own or something. And I can't do what you do. I can't do it
a little bit at a time.
Yeah, if I don't do everything at once, I got no shot, because otherwise socks end up in the fridge.
Well, I've got a note card with everything I bring, and I get that note card out, and when everything on that list is checked, I know I'm ready to go.
Good policy, Felix Unger.
I just look at it this way. It's a lot easier to make that list out. I probably made it out 10 years ago. Do that one time.
Yeah.
Leave it on my desk. Look at it while I'm packing, because I've never gotten on the road and forgot something that I needed.
Yeah, I'm not judging, because of the number of ties, undergarments, things that I've had to buy on the road in the last dozen years. It's amazing.
Kurt Dykert just made a very good point. I don't leave anything at home. I just leave the stuff on the road. I need to bring the checklist with me.
You need a note card
for every city to make sure I have it coming home.
Right. Bring the index card on the team bus so you're not leaving sports coats on the bus. Right.
I thought I had everything covered until he just pointed that out to me. I don't know if it would have saved that sport coat.
A dearly departed sport coat. Here's Jack Cust. Big rip, strike one. You never did get that bad boy back, did you?
Never got it back, no. Didn't expect to.
Even though we put the APB out for him, huh?
Yeah. A lot of navy blue sport coats out there in the lost and founds around the country.
One of them being worn quite illicitly. You know who you are. Are we returning to the scene of that crime?
Yeah, and if one of those autograph seekers out in front of the hotel has got that blue sport coat on,
it's going to be church, isn't it?
Yep. I'm going to go up to Vlad and say, Vlad, go get me that sport coat real quick, will you?
See, Poppy.
And if Vlad can't get it, I'm going to send Frankie right there with him.
It's inside to Jack Cust. There's your muscle right there.
He doesn't know it yet. I'm not even going to tell him about it unless I see the sport coat.
And then it's sick him, Vladdy. Inside to Cust, 3-1. What if the hotel general manager shows up wearing it?
Then I'll go politely up to him myself and negotiate for it. I don't want someone to get in trouble. And if he's wearing my glasses that I lost, then I'm bringing in the heavy hitters.
The walk to Cust. Kuzmanov comes up, and before we look for any more of Tom's belongings here, let's check the AL Best Record Standing Board. The Yankees, a 2-1 winner against Chicago today, so they're now 5 games up on Minnesota. 6.5 up on the Rangers. Kuzmanov today, an interesting little ball game he's got going. 2 strikeouts and a foul out, but also a really long home run. Ripped in a left field base hit. The 11th Oakland hit today. Nicely played back in by Hamilton. Kuzmanov, the former Indian and Padre, having a chance to be the everyday third baseman here in Oakland, or for Oakland.
Yeah, the A's have swung the bats well today. 11 hits, 7 runs. Benefited by a couple of defensive plays, but for the most part, they've hit the ball well. A couple of home runs, which they normally don't do.
Double play depth for the Ranger infield here. Ellis with a home run in the 4th inning, just his 3rd all season. Lines this one into left field. Hamilton comes up with it, and they're going to wisely hold Cust at 3rd.
You know how far he would have been out if he had decided to go?
You think 40 feet?
That throw was perfect.
Cust is a guy who once, as a Baltimore Oriole in the 12th inning, trying to score a winning run, fell down in between 3rd and home, tried to crawl home on his hands and knees. That did not go well.
Watch him charge this ball and throw a strike, just like a pitcher. Cutoff man is Michael. He's going to catch it right about chest high. That would have taken 1 hop and been an easy out of the plate.
Matt Carson's going to pinch hit now. This is where Gabe Gross was going to be. Now, Colby Lewis was the starter today. And online for the loss, he would drop to 9-11. A long discussion going here. Well, the A's have already stranded 7 today. Let's see if they can strand a few more. Carson is announced as the pinch hitter. First pitch swinging Carson towards center. Bourbon, look at that ball carry. Still backing up, and he's got it at the track. Everybody's tagging, and it's close at second base, but the run is in. It is 8-2. Now Carson sees one pitch and has himself a run batted in. Walk, single, sack fly.
7 different A's have 1 RBI tonight, this afternoon.
Rajai Davis, an 8-game hitting streak, going 2 for 4 today. Something about the A's in the daytime is really pretty remarkable. It's not just a cute little stat anymore. Best team in baseball in the daytime hours. The Rangers have struggled in the daytime all year, and they're up against it this afternoon. On the downside of an 8-2 score in their last chance coming up. F-150. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. That first place flag is still flying high. The Rangers, at the very worst, will be 7.5 ahead in the AL West at the close of play today. Starting to look like that number will be 7.5. They are 6 runs down at the bottom of the 9th. Josh Hamilton has provided the 2 Ranger runs today, driving a run in the 3rd. That was a single. Then in the 6th, he hit home run at number 31. Coors Light pulled a hard blast, and he hit it off the guy who hardly ever gives up a home run, Gio Gonzalez.
A high fastball wasn't even a strike. A quick bat got on top of that ball, hit a line shot right off the facing of the upper deck.
Hamilton now against Michael Wirtz. He is a new pitcher, getting into his 40th game of the year. And a new right fielder, too, Carson, who had that sac fly RBI in the top of the inning. Out there in right, the 3rd right fielder of the day for Oakland. Go with a walk and 2 hits today. Josh Hamilton inching closer to being a 400 hitter here in this ballpark this year. He's been fine on the road, too. About a 300 hitter on the road. Even better than that. for the year now. 360 is the batting average. Got a 20-point lead. Hamilton, Guerrero, and Cantu for the Rangers in the ninth. At the very least, maybe let Hamilton or Guerrero get on and see if Cantu can finally drive in that first run as a Texas Ranger. Got to get him going. Wirtz winning a foot race. And up comes Vladdy. Well, the A's pretty much par for the course today, Tag, giving up 2 runs. And they have done what they really don't do very often, is score a number like 8. We talked about it coming on the air. This is the king of the 3-2 final, these Oakland A's. They're scoring 8. Looking back in their press notes here, I'm trying to find the last time they scored as many as 8. We're talking July 24th. That's 5 weeks ago. The tame start today. This game was scoreless in the third. Then the A's 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth. Kind of ran away with 3 in the 6th inning. Just tacked on 1 here in the 9th. Pounded beyond the dive of Pennington. And there's Vladimir Guerrero getting on. Sits safely in 15 of his last 17 ball games now. So Cantu will have a chance to drive somebody in. Right around that same time that the A's last scored 8 runs. That's the last time Jorge had a run batted in, back in July.
Well, he struck out 3 times. Gonzalez struck out 4. He struck him out 3 times. And he's seen some pretty good pitches, especially curveballs from Gonzalez.
Outside corner. If indeed Gio Gonzalez gets this win, he'll go to 12-8. His ERA will stay right around 3.2. On the ground, third base. How can the day get worse for Cantu after 3 strikeouts? You just saw it, the game-ending double play. Your final, the Oakland A's 8, the Texas Rangers 2, and the A's, who were on the brink of being extinct after losing on Friday. Well, they bounced back with a win on Saturday and a win on Sunday, and they're not done yet. They're 7.5 out with about 30 games to go. 37,000 plus today. Nice crowd, but not much of a ball game. The A's over the Rangers 8-2. Rangers Live coming up next.